Hi, you guys. Let's talk about multiplying and dividing decimals today. So our goal is to multiply and divide decimals. You can cross out this vocabulary term. We're not going to do that. Let's take a look at multiplying decimals and look at their example. 3.16 times 8.7. And so I put the 3.16 on top because it has 1, 2, 3 digits or numbers. And I put the 8.7 on the bottom because it has 1, 2 numbers. Now notice the decimals do not have to be lined up when we're multiplying. They do not. So we just multiply the numbers like normal. 7 times 6 is 42. So I put the 2 here and carried the 4. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 4 is 11. So I put the 1 and carried the 1. 7 times 3 is 21, plus 1 is 22. And then when I'm getting ready to multiply the 8, remember I have to put that 0 here, and then I start multiplying the 8. 8 times 6 is 48, so I put the 8, carried the 4. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 2 is 12, so I put the 2 and I carried the 1. 8 times 3 is 24, plus 1 is 25, and I put that here. And now I just add those two up, so 2 plus 0 gives me 2, 1 plus 8 is 9, 2 plus 2 is 4, 2 plus 5 is 7, and then I bring down the 2. Now, to decide where the decimal point goes, I grab your red and I underlined 1, 2 numbers after the decimal point on the first number, and then 1 number after the decimal point on the second number. So that's a total of 1, 2, 3. So I move 1, 2, 3 places to the left, and that's where I put my decimal point. So I get 27.492. Okay, so let's practice multiplying in the guided practice and take a look at number 1. It's negative 8.62 times 2.3. So I'm going to put the 8.62 on the top because it has 1, 2, 3 numbers, and I'm going to put the 2.3 down below because it has 2 numbers, and then I multiply. 2 times 3 is 6, 3 times 6 is 18, and I carry the 1. 3 times 8 is 24, plus 1 is 25. And then to get ready to multiply the 2, I have to put that 0 there as a placeholder, and then I multiply. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 6 is 12, and I carry the 1. 2 times 8 is 16, plus 1 is 17. And then I add them up. 6 plus 0 is 6, 8 plus 4 is 12, and I carried the 1. 1 plus 5 plus 2 is 8, and then 2 plus 7 is 9, and I bring down the 1. Now remember, with your red, underline all the numbers after the decimal point. So that's 1, 2, 3 numbers are after decimal points, so you count over 1, 2, 3 places and put your decimal. So now, before I box my answer, look back at the original problem. See how it's a negative times a positive? When the signs don't match, they're different, that means our answer is negative. So put a negative in front of your answer, and it's negative 19.826. Okay, take a look at number 3. I have 1.21 times 0.07. So I put the 1.21 on top, the 0.07 down below, and I multiplied. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 2 is 14. I carry the 1. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 1 is 8. And then I put a 0 because I have to get ready to multiply this 0. And then I just did 0 times 1 is 0, 0 times 2 is 0, 0 times 1 is 0. Now add that up and bring down the 7, the 4, the 8, and the 0. And now with your red, count how many numbers are after the decimal point. 1, 2, 3, 4. So with your red pen, go back 1, 2, 3, 4 places and put your decimal point. Now notice it's a positive times a positive, so my answer that I box is positive 0.0847. Now, a really cool trick, look at example 2 with dividing decimals. Always think about in and out, like In-N-Out burgers. If you've ever eaten those, this helps you remember how to set it up. The first number always goes on the inside, the second number always goes on the outside. So notice in the margin, notice how I wrote that. I put the division house, and I put the 27.048 on the inside, and I put the 2.8 on the outside. Now when we're multiplying decimals, remember we need to make this outside number, the divisor, a whole complete number. So grab that decimal point with your red pen and move it one place to the right. Well, whatever you do on the outside, you have to match it on the inside. So circle that decimal point and move it one place to the right. Now, I don't show my work there. What I did down here is I wrote it again. So this became a 28 on the outside, and on the inside, it was 270.48. Now, notice how the decimal point goes straight up so I can see where it belongs in my answer. And now I start dividing. 28 goes into 270 9 times, and 9 times 28 gave me 252. And so then I subtracted and got 18. And now I bring down the 4. 28 goes into 184 6 times, and 6 times 28 gave me 168. And I subtracted and got 16. And then I brought down the 8. And again, 28 goes into 168 6 times. 6 times 28 gave me 168, and when I subtracted, I got 0, so I know I'm done. So now, before I box my answer, I look back at the problem. A positive divided by a positive gives me a positive answer, and I box my answer. Okay, so let's practice when it says find the quotient. Remember, that's division, and we're going to use the in and out trick. So notice on number 4, they gave me 5.6 divided by 0.07, in and out. So I put the 5.6 on the inside of the division house and the 0.07 on the outside. Now grab your red pen and circle that decimal point on the outside and move it 2 places to the right to make that a whole complete number. Whatever you do on the outside, you have to match it on the inside. So circle with your red and move it 2 places. Now notice I had to add a 0 there because there was a blank spot. Now don't show your work there where you move the decimal. Write it again so you can see it. Put a 7 on the outside, put the division house, and put 560 with the decimal point at the end. And now bring that decimal point straight up in your answer so you know where it belongs. And now 7 goes into 56 8 times. 8 times 7 is 56. And when I subtracted, I got 0. But I still have to bring down that 0 that's left. 7 goes into 0 0 times. And so 0 times 7 is 0. When I subtracted, I got 0. I know I'm done. And so this would just be 80. Now I double check. It's a positive divided by a positive, so it's a positive 80 that I box. You can cross out number 5. Take a look at number 6. 15 divided by 0.25. In and out. So when I do my division house, I put the 15 on the inside and the 0.25 on the outside. And then grab your red pen. Grab that decimal point and move it 2 places to the right. So whatever you do on the outside, you have to match on the inside. So put with your red, put that decimal point so we can see it, and then drag it 2 places to the right and put it there. And so remember, don't show your work where you move the decimal point. Write it again. So put 25 on the outside, put your division house, and put the 1500 on the inside. And notice I can see my decimal point. Bring it straight up so you know where it belongs in your answer. And now you can do the division. 25 goes into 150 6 times, like quarters, right? So 6 quarters would give you 150, and so that's what I put there. And when I subtracted, I got 0, but now you have to bring down that other 0. And of course, 25 goes into 0 0 times, and so I'm done. It won't keep going and going. So I know my answer would be 60, and I just double check whether it's positive or negative. A positive divided by a positive gives me a positive answer. Okay, take a look at number 8. You can cross off number 7 and number 9, but let's talk about 8. I have 1.5759 divided by 3.09. And again, use the in and out trick. So draw your division house, put the 1.5759 on the inside, and put the 3.09 on the outside. Grab your red pen, circle that decimal, and move it 2 places to the right. Whatever you do on the outside, you have to match on the inside. So grab the decimal with your red and drag it 2 spots to the right. Now, write it again so you can see it. So I put 309 on the outside, I draw the division house, and I put 157.59 on the inside. And notice I'm letting the decimal go straight up so I know where it belongs in my answer. Now 309 will not go into 157, so I put that 0. But then I'll ask myself, okay, 309 goes into 1,575 5 times. So I put that 5 right there. 5 times 309 gave me 1545. And then I subtracted and got 30. And then I brought down the 9. And of course, 309 goes into 309 one complete time. And 1 times 309 gives me 309. I subtract and I got 0. So now I just double check it's a positive divided by a positive, so I know my answer is positive. Okay, so let's look at this last guided practice. Find the product, that means multiply, or quotient, that means divide. Okay, so take a look at number 10. It's negative 6.8 times negative 3.1. Okay, so I'm just going to multiply first and then decide about my answer at the end. So I'm going to put the 6.8 on top, the 3.1 down below, and I multiply. 1 times 8 is 8, 1 times 6 is 6. I put that 0 and I get ready to multiply the 3. 3 times 8 is 24, and I carry the 2. 3 times 6 is 18, plus 2 is 20. And now I add 8 plus 0 is 8, 6 plus 4 is 10, and I carry the 1. 1 plus 0 is 1, and I bring down the 2. Now grab your red and count how many numbers are after the decimal point. So I see 1, 2 numbers after the decimal, so I count over 1, 2, and I put my decimal point there. So now I know it's 21.8, but I have to decide if it's positive or negative. Well, a negative times a negative, the signs match, so my answer is positive. So I box the 21.08. Take a look at number 11. I have negative 5.5 times 0.32. So I put the 5.5 on top, the 0.32 on the bottom, and I multiply. 2 times 5 is 10, and I carry the 1. 2 times 5 is 10 again, plus 1 is 11. And then I put my 0 as my placeholder, and then I multiply the 3. 3 times 5 is 15, and I carry the 1. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 1 is 16. And I add them up. 0 plus 0 is 0. 1 plus 5 is 6. 1 plus 6 is 7. And then I bring down the 1. Now grab your red pen and count how many numbers are after the decimal points. I see 1, 2, 3. So I move over 1, 2, 3 spots, and I put the decimal. And now we have to decide if it's positive or negative. So I see a negative times a positive. Well, the signs do not match, and when they don't match, the answer is negative. So it's negative 1.76. Now notice how I made that 0 become red because it's invisible. You can have it on the answer or you can take it off of your answer. It does not change the value. Okay, take a look at number 12. It's division, so we're going to use in and out. So I put the 11.96 on the inside, the 1.3 on the outside. And now grab your red, circle that decimal point, and move it to the right to make that number a whole number on the outside. Now whatever I do on the outside, I have to match on the inside. So grab your red, circle the decimal point, and move it one place over. And now rewrite it so you can see the numbers. It's 13 on the outside, put the division house, and it's 119.6 on the inside. Bring that decimal straight up in your answer so you know where it goes. And then you divide. 13 goes into 119 9 times. 9 times 13 is 117, and I subtract. 9 minus 7 is 2, and I bring down the 6. So now 13 goes into 26 2 times. 2 times 13 is 26, and I subtract and get 0. So now I have to decide if my answer is positive or negative. So here it's a negative divided by a positive. The signs don't match, so it's negative. So I put a big negative in front of my answer, and I box my answer. Take a look at number 13. It's negative 3.22 divided by negative 2.8. In and out. So I put the 3.22 on the inside, the 2.8 on the outside, and then grab your red pen, circle that decimal point, and move it one place to the right Do the same thing on the inside. Circle the decimal, move it one place to the right, and then rewrite the problem so you can see it. I want to see 28, and then do your division house, and then 32.2 on the inside. And now take that decimal and bring it straight up in your answer so you know where it goes. And then divide. 28 goes into 32 one complete time. 1 times 28 is 28, and you subtract and get 4. Now bring down that 2. 28 goes into 42 one complete time. 1 times 28 is 28, and you subtract and get 14, and then add a 0 and bring that down. So now 28 goes into 140 5 times. 5 times 28 is 140. You subtract and get 0. And now you have to decide, is your answer positive or negative? Well, a negative divided by a negative, the signs match, so our answer is positive. So box your positive answer, 1.15.